Oh, brilliant at it. Of course not. Don't be soft. Of course I'm not. But I'm glad, basically, I wouldn't have known about Jesus had somebody who was hopeless at it not tried to tell me. And that's been my golden thread all my life. You know you're not very good at it, but just don't negotiate talking about Jesus. Otherwise, nobody will ever hear. Mm. Well, the most normal, basic way I can put it is the boy who told me about Jesus when I was 15 was 18. My school cricket team was short. There was one boy who was sick with 5 minutes to go before they left for a game. I got a shout from my class. I went, I didn't know any boys. I thought I was playing because I was good, but I wasn't. I was playing because I lived near school. Uh, the captain was the best player at school. He sat by me on a bus, 11 boys and a teacher. We went to the game. He played well. I did nothing, fielded third man. We jumped on the bus back. It was a Monday. He was 18. Now, before I tell you this, Ben, you need to know that what happened after this was he went home after, I'll tell you the conversation in a mo. He went home. His mum and dad said, how did the game go? He said, all right. And they said, oh, not so good. And he scored 70 and took 4 wickets or something. And they said, oh, you don't seem very pleased. And he said, well, I tried to tell a boy about Jesus and I really blew it. That's what he told his mum and dad. They told me that 10 years later. Okay. This is what happened on the bus. It was a Monday. He said, oh, what did you do Saturday then? Killing time, 50-mile journey. What did you do Saturday? I said, I play cricket. He said, oh, what did you do yesterday? I said, oh, nothing. It was 70s in Wales. If you didn't go to chapel or church, you didn't do anything. There was nothing on. So I said, it was dead boring. I said, what did you do? He said, I played cricket Saturday. I went to church Sunday. I said, what do you go to church for? You're like 18 years of age. What do you go to church for? And he said, and he coloured up a bit. And he said, oh, well, I go to church because I follow Jesus. And I went, oh, no, nightmare. Bible thumper in my head. That's the first time I ever heard anyone tell me about Jesus. The first time. And I couldn't get it out of my head for the next 6 years. I became a Christian 6 years later. He was the one who kickstarted it. For me, that's evangelism. He was useless at it. He stuttered. He blushed. But it wasn't about his ability to get to my heart, was it? He couldn't get to my heart. Only Jesus can get to your heart by the Spirit. Honestly, Ben, for me, I'm 58. That's my paradigm. That's what I call evangelism. Oh, all the time. You see, let's not mistake two things. If you're Rico Tice, if you're some well-known evangelist, if you're a preacher at a church, anyone who can do that knows that if you're told to give a talk for 15 minutes, you can do it. Most people freeze at the thought of that. It's something you can do. Let me be candid. For me, that's not too difficult. Doesn't mean my talks are any good, but I can stand up and talk for 15 minutes on the Christian message. But put me in a room with 35 people in professional football, League Two, Cambridge United, boardroom somewhere. I'm a director of Cambridge United. And then somebody says, what do you do? Now it's different because it's not me on stage controlling it. It's me as the silly Christian in a crowd of, well, League Two, but sophisticated people, boardrooms anyway. Then it's not the same. And then I am that boy on the bus. Of course you are. But what do you say to yourself? You say to yourself, hey, doesn't matter if your knees knock or your palms sweat. Don't negotiate here. Say, well, I work with athletes. I'm a Christian and I work a bit in the church and I work with professional sports people. They always want to ask about the professional sports people, inevitably. And then I've got to have the nerve to say something about Christianity. Now, my trick, I don't know if this helps anyone, but I always say something about the Christian faith and I ask a question. This is the way I cross the pain line. I'm in that boardroom, well-to-do people, chat. I ask about them. Sometimes they ask about me, not always, not usually, but they all, people don't reciprocate, but they ask a question back and I'll say, whatever they say, I'll say, Yeah. Oh, have you ever been to church? Oh, yeah, well, I go to church every week, of course, yeah, because that's what. Have you ever been to church? I know in a split second by their body language if they're going to say yes or no, and whether they want to talk or not. If they do, I say, oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, I used to go until I was 15. Oh, really? Where was that? I'll ask another question. If they don't want to, I can tell straight away, no, not really, no. Oh, good. So how's your team for today? All our lives, when we meet a stranger, or we have to make small talk at work, all our lives, we make a decision whether to move the conversation on because they don't want to talk about it. Well, just do the same. That's why I say to myself, just be normal about this. Be normal. Use emotional intelligence in the question, in the conversation with Jesus. Ask questions, follow the answer. Oh, you'd run a mile, wouldn't you? I mean, fair play to that 18-year-old boy, Guion Jenkins. Fair play, because I can remember it like yesterday. He knew from my body language when I said, "You go to church? You're 18. You go to church for?" "Oh, I go to church because I follow Jesus." "Oh, great." I remember now. Went quiet for 30 seconds, and he said, "So, have you got a game tomorrow night for your village team?" Off we went. That evangelistic interchange for him lasted about 12 seconds. What he couldn't tell, and I couldn't tell, was the Holy Spirit decided it was going to last for eternity. But here's the thing. That's not his responsibility. It's Guion's. It's not my responsibility. I'm not in charge of that. God's in charge of this. And just seems to me, in my own weakness, have the nerve to say something about church, God, Jesus, say something and ask a question. Jesus and question. Feel the temperature, ask the next one, or ask a different one. Trust God. For me, that is 80% of personal evangelism. 90%. 90%. It's a long game. And it's a simple game, but it's a game where you've got to hold your bottle because it is a pain line to ask that question. It is Jesus and question. It is.